Hi guys, my name is Robin and today I'm here to talk about the books that I want to read before the end of 2020. So at the beginning of the year I set myself a Goodreads goal of 40 books to read for the year. I lowered it from what I've done in previous years just because I had university. I was going to be living away from my bookshelves, so I have less access to my books. But then COVID happened, so all of my university went online and I had to move back to where all my bookshelves are. So I had access again, which was nice. But my workload for university actually turned out to be less than I expected, so I've had a lot more reading time, which is really nice. And so as of today I have read, I think it's 48 books this year. So I surpassed my goal, which was nice. And now I think I'm going to try and get to 60 or 70 before the end of the year because I have absolutely nothing to do now because, again, of COVID. There are some particular books that I do want to finish before the end of the year, ones that I set myself the goal of finishing off. Only one of these actually is to conclude a series, and that's because I've actually finished off a bunch of series already this year. So now I have just some other books that I really wanted to get to for a really long time, or that I really feel like reading at the moment. So I thought I'd do a video and see which books I wanted to finish before the end of the year, and then see if I do. So the first one is the biggest one, and that one is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. And this book concludes the Throne of Glass series. I'm currently reading Tower of Dawn, and then I plan on getting to this one probably next month to finally finish the series. I think this book has actually been out for a year or so now, a year or two, and I still haven't gotten around to finishing it. And that is because of how big it is. Like, it's, I think, 1,000 pages? Yeah, 1,000 pages long, which is huge. And I also kind of worry for the ending of this book because I have loved this series and I have a feeling that some bad things are going to happen to the characters that I love. So I've been putting it off, but I really want to have the conclusion and see what happens and just have this series finished by the end of the year. The next book that I have is a standalone, and this one is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This was also on my 5-star predictions video because I have loved the other book that I read by Margaret Rogerson, which was An Enchantment of Ravens. And this book I don't know too much about. I know it's fantasy, I know Margaret Rogerson wrote it and her writing is absolutely beautiful, so I plan on loving it, which is why I put it in my 5-star predictions. I did buy this book, I think it was earlier this year or last year, and I bought the hardcover because I really wanted to get the book and started instantly and then just never did. So I think that I should get around to this one. It's a book that I think I'm gonna love, but I also might have set my hype for it a little high and maybe that's why I've been putting it off. But I will get around to it and I will hopefully love it. As I said, I don't know too much about the synopsis, but I think it contains a magic system of some sort. And I'll tell you more about it when I finish it. Then I will actually have a synopsis to give you. The next two books that I want to finish this year is actually a duology. And this is the Courting Darkness duology. So it's Courting Darkness and Igniting Darkness by Robin Lefevers. This is a spin-off series to the His Fair Assassins trilogy, which I read this year and absolutely loved. I've been planning on getting into this next duology because it continues on with our characters and I absolutely love them. I love this world. I really want to see more. I really want more. That is the basis of it. I need more from this series. I have the audiobooks on script, so I plan on listening to them instead of reading them because the audiobooks are excellent as well. But as a spin-off series, I can't tell you too much about what this one is about because it will spoil you for the main series. But overall, the His Fair Assassins trilogy follows the perspective of the daughters of Mortan. And in this world, there are gods or saints, depending on which faction you follow is what you call them. But the daughters of Mortan are the daughters of the god of death, and they are assassins. So they're trained to be assassins and to exact Mortain's will. And we follow these girls throughout some of their training, and then as they go out on assignments that they've been given by the convent that they live under. And it's just incredibly interesting. The magic system that surrounds all of these saints is really interesting. You only really learn about Saint Mortan. He's the one that is, everything is all about him really. But you do see some of the other saints and their followers throughout the books. But it's just fantastic. The writing is amazing. The world building is incredible. We get to see quite a few parts of the world, and it's done incredibly well. Our characters as well. I love our characters. And I love all the relationships that they build as well. So we have 3 main characters. They're all companion novels as opposed to like follow-ons, I would say, as they follow a different girl in each book of the 3. But I love them all. They're all so different, and they have these beautiful relationships, both platonic and romantic, and I absolutely love them, and I cannot wait to get into this new series. So the next 2 books are also a duology, and that is Vicious and then Avengeful by V.E. Schwab. I love V.E. Schwab's books. I've just actually finished Tunnel of Bones by V.E. Schwab, which I loved, and I have been meaning to read this series for a very long time. And I think it's just come back in that everyone is now reading this series, and it's brought it back to my attention, and now I need to read these books. They seem to follow these main characters who are trying to create supernaturals, or people with supernatural abilities, and apparently you gain these supernatural abilities by dying and coming back to life. And that just sounds really interesting. I don't know too much about it other than that, apart from that they were 2 college students who were friends, and they were doing this together, and then one of them goes to prison for I don't know why yet, and now they are arch enemies, and they are going to go against each other. And you know, I don't need to know more than that really. I also loved this Savage Song series by V.E. Schwab, which is her more darker series. That's one of my favourite book series I have ever read, and I think that this is in the same vein as that, with more darker undertones to the books, so I'm really hoping to love these ones as well. So I own the first one, so I'll be reading it physically, and then I have the ebook of Avengeful, just because it probably, even if I ordered a physical copy now, it probably wouldn't get to me in time. So I'll be reading the ebook for the second one, and hopefully loving both of these. And the last book that I want to finish before the end of the year is The Wicked Fox by Cacho. And this book I actually started last year. So I was in Vietnam and I just had my phone and I have Script. So I started listening to the audiobook while I was on the plane. And for some reason the audiobook seems to skip a couple chapters. And so I put it down because I didn't want to miss any important parts of the book, and then came back and bought a physical copy. And then I haven't gotten around to reading it yet. But I was absolutely loving this book from where I was up to. I think I was maybe 5-6 chapters in at the time where the audiobook just broke on me. And I was really enjoying it. This is a fantasy series about our main character who is a Ninetales, and she has to basically take the life energy from humans in order to survive. And then we have our other main character. I can't remember the main characters' names, but there's the girl who's the Ninetales and the guy who comes upon her when I think he was being attacked by someone, and then she saves him. from what I recall. But the writing was really beautiful, and I really want to get back into this world and actually finish this book. I'll have to start it from the beginning again because I really don't remember a lot of what happened. But if I do manage to finish this one, I might actually start the companion novel, which came out I think last month, which is Vicious Spirits, I think it's called. So if I finish this one, I'll probably get to that one, because that one also looks really interesting. It has an absolutely beautiful cover. But I'm really hoping to enjoy it. I was enjoying it, as I said already, and I felt like it was going to be a 5-star book if I'd continued. So hopefully I will get to this one and love it. So these are some of the books that I want to finish before the end of the year. We've only got 2.5 months left of the year anyway. And I am planning on doing a lot of reading, so I think that these will be achievable. There's 3 others that I'll be listening to on audiobook or ebook, but I think it's achievable, and I'm hoping that I will really enjoy these books, because these are some of the books that I've been putting off for a really long time for various reasons, and hopefully I will love them. Let me know if there are any particular books that you guys are planning on reading before the end of the year and why you kind of want to get to them. I feel like when we get to the end of the year, certain books kind of pop back into my mind that I've been putting off for ages, or that I've just gotten really excited about again, that I need to finish before the end of the year. It's always before the end of the year. I mean, like, it doesn't really matter when I read them, but it just puts this like pressure that I have to finish them before the end of the year. Which is good, because as I said, I have all this time and I will get a lot of reading done. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.